Marvel films and comics might need to gear up to take on DC in 2025 with a new creative direction. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. As DC gears up to bring out the big guns with Superman this year, Marvel finds itself in a very tumultuous position at the box office. Thunderbolts, The Fantastic Four, First Steps, and Captain America, Brave New World have all very shoddy chances at breaking even at the box office, as fans are more concerned with events like Avengers, Secret War and Avengers, Doomsday. Marvel has an event problem. The franchise has managed to drive itself into the ground by positioning itself with narratives that are focused on events. Kevin Feige has made a lot of money off of the model that allowed him to do films like Avengers, Endgame and Infinity War, and that model itself has come to bite him at the most crucial moment of the MCU's history. While crossover events might have ruined Marvel, whether it be films or comics, there is one way in which Marvel can actually deliver great standalone films, and ironically, it has already been done in films like Spider-Man, Homecoming and Thor, Love and Thunder. The idea that Marvel can run with is having cameos and secret cast members in films that can cross over without the need of there being big and important events. It has already been a staple in comics and should be something that can work in films. As opposed to them, DC has managed to keep its fans focused on characters instead of teams. This focus on crossover events, especially in the wake of films like Avengers, Endgame, seems to have hit Marvel in the worst way possible. DC has a very clear advantage in the film side of things, with crossover events not being that big a part of their stories. However, Marvel can still have its day in the sun, even if DC is bringing out the big guns. Be it Captain America, Brave New World, or The Fantastic Four, First Steps, 2025 seems to be stacked for Marvel Studios. However, the slate, except for maybe Daredevil, Born Again, simply does not seem to have the star power to carry the projects for the mainstream audience. While the DCU did not have much luck in live action, James Gunn has been careful to announce projects about individuals, rather than simply focusing on assembling the Justice League to fight Marvel. Anthony Mackie's Sam Wilson was last seen on a Disney Plus series The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which a lot of fans have forgotten about. Thunderbolts don't have any heavy hitters leading the charge for a crossover film, except for maybe Florence Pugh. Daredevil, Born Again is perhaps the only series that is getting picked up with some hype, given that despite the character's long absence, he is the only character to have led a project of his own before in the 2025 slate of Marvel Comics. With Superman kicking off the DCU, Marvel might have to put its best foot forward, which really comes down to selling its iteration of the Fantastic Four to fans in the time it has left. As the movies and shows increase in quantity, an insider stated that Marvel president Kevin Feige is simply letting go of one iconic character. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. So what is Kevin Feige planning to do with it? People think that there might be some plans to recast the actress or simply let her stay in the Wasp suit all the time. However, an insider begs to differ. Yeah, so you are probably aware that veteran star Evangeline Lilly, who is known for her roles as Wasp in the MCU, Lost, and Real Steel, has retired from acting. That leaves us with one actress short in the MCU. Although there hasn't been any official confirmation or comment from Marvel Studios, an insider claims that Kevin Feige might be simply done taking care of the character. Last seen in the 2023 film Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Evangeline Lilly shocked the world when she revealed that she would be retiring from acting. Fans wondered about what would happen to her character, the Wasp, in the MCU. There are references to her character, particularly in Daredevil, Born Again, which is what comes to mind for me at the moment. But outside of that, I think she's currently just running the Pim Van Dyne Foundation. He further continued. Other than that, nothing's really happening with her character. Nothing's really happening with her character. Sounds like what you would say about a retired boxer who was a big shot but not anymore. Well, it seems that Evangeline Lilly's Wasp might be up for some relaxing time in running the Pim Van Dyne Foundation. In an interview with the Cosmic Circus, notable insider Alex Perez was back with some fresh rumors and speculations with what's going on in the MCU. According to the insider, it seems that Kevin Feige has allegedly let go of the character of the Wasp. Just a wild observation, but even after not having a movie in 2 years, Benedict Cumberbatch's Doctor Strange is still discussed in present times. On the same hand, we haven't heard much about what's going on with Hank and Janet Pym recently. However, this isn't just about the character of Hope Van Dyne. It seems that Kevin Feige might be done with the entire Dine family since there hasn't been much going on about them for quite a while now. The same could be said for Hank and Janet, which is a shame, given the way they were planning on delivering the final curtain call for those two. Nevertheless, the insider had some good speculations, after all. However, I know that the use and abuse of the PIM particle will be a topic that will be explored in future films. The Dine family appeared in the 2023 film Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania and have been gone for quite a while now. Out of sight and out of mind, there are talks that Feige might just be done with the whole family for good. Even insider Alex Perez had this observation and mentioned the same during his interview. So, the use and abuse of the PIM particle could be a way of bringing back Hank and Janet Pym alongside Scott Lang in the MCU's future. Meanwhile, nothing can be said about Evangeline Lilly's return, as the actress seems to have retired permanently. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania received a rating of 6 out of 10 on IMDb and a meager low of 40% on Rotten Tomatoes. The same could be said for Hank and Janet, which is a shame, given the way they were planning on delivering the final curtain call for those two. Nevertheless, the insider had some good speculations, after all. However, I know that the use and abuse of the PIM particle will be a topic that will be explored in future films. The superhero industry may not be in a great place right now, but Kevin Feige knows exactly how Marvel and DC can rise to the challenge. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. The universally preferred term, superhero fatigue, has now become a malicious illness festering and spreading rapidly through the DC and Marvel communities. And yet, people swarm into theaters on each opening weekend of a major comic book movie to fill the seats and buy the merchandise despite complaining about the constantly declining, inferior quality of these films. However, to Feige's credit, he already knew back in 2012 why Marvel and DC would rise above the noise and keep on delivering the big screen experience despite the saturation of it all. The live-action comic book film industry has been a somewhat ubiquitous presence in our world for the past 2 decades. And while that experience was a unifying and entertaining one for the first few years, it has snowballed into an unwanted imposition in our daily lives for the past half a decade or so. To the benefit of Kevin Feige, the Marvel chief architect seems to be aware of it. While talking to Wired for a post-Avengers interview in 2012, Kevin Feige revealed what exactly makes the CBM industry thrive so ineffably well. They could make Tony Stark a drunk. They could have many different incarnations of Spider-Man, from one that would go to preschoolers to an edgy, dark Todd McFarlane comic. You didn't see that with, James Bond, because he's never going to be on 8-year-olds' sneakers. The hyper-sexualized, action-heavy world that James Bond exists in was never marketed to the PG-13 audience. Unlike Marvel and DC, 007 solely relies on its adult demography to bring in the earnings. However, the comic book industry just as much caters to its mature audience, Joker, The Dark Knight, the Batman, and DCU, as it does its young crowd, Ms. Marvel, Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It also matters that James Bond has simply catered to a certain elite demography among the audience, while comic books and their live-action adaptations have reached more culturally diverse communities than Bond ever could. With superheroes of varied race, color, and ethnicity now taking over Marvel and DC, fans all over the world are beginning to feel more in touch with the CBM industry. In the years following the rise of blockbuster movies, no single franchise has ever touched the formulaic